Took a hike up the Wasatch last week to get a peek at life on the other side. You know, it seems everyone is pretty confused by what Donald Trump is thinking and saying these days. He seems, have you noticed, a little changeable. The last I heard is, and of course this may have changed again, but the last I heard is that he really likes Obama. And after finally getting around to reading what Obamacare really means, he likes that too. He has developed a little empathy for Hillary, refers now to the New York Times as a jewel of a newspaper, insists that climate change is a result of human behavior, and he keeps an open mind about the environment. You know, I'm almost sorry I didn't vote for him. How could I have known? Gee. But one thing is really clear. California has no regrets for their support of Hillary, and the state will even go so far as to plan on seceding from the Union. Cal Exit, it's called. It's true. And it's building momentum and getting a ton of funding from the guy who initially invested in Uber. So you know he knows a sure thing when he sees it. The exit referendum will be on the ballot by 2019, which may be our last chance to visit California before it requires a passport. But you know, you think about it, California is such a healthy place to be. While the rest of the country dealt with Trump's victory with therapy, depression, and Xanax. You know what they did in California? Californians went surfing on November 9th. They went out in such massive numbers that they all couldn't find room in the ocean to ride the wave. And so those who didn't make it out in the ocean stayed back and they played beach volleyball all day long. Who wouldn't want to live there? Besides, they voted to legalize marijuana, ease parole for nonviolent criminals, increase taxes on the wealthiest, imagine that, boost school spending, restore bilingual education, and the only thing that somehow doesn't make sense in their plans for secession, this is really true, they want to take Brooklyn with them. Yeah, not New York, Brooklyn. They just want to take Brooklyn. Brooklyn is so cool, man. It's just, well, go figure. So aside from thinking about immigrating to California, I've been wondering a lot about the great stars of rock and roll. You ever know they're getting pretty old and dying? Just this year, we lost David Bowie and Prince, both having a tribute paid to them by Jazz Vespers. Glenn Frey of the Eagles died this year too. Maurice White, George Martin, Leonard Cohen, Leon Russell. The rock headliners were born mostly in the 40s, and their fan base was born in the 50s and 60s. That's a long time ago. Mick Jagger and Paul McCartney are elderly grandfathers. Paul McCartney, in fact, just announced he's giving up marijuana in order not to set a bad example for his grandchildren. Is he kidding me? I mean, how are they supposed to listen to Lucy in the Sky? I mean, what's he doing to his grandkids? No. Those who attend rock concerts these days, so different. They no longer sleep in the mud at Watkins Glen waiting for the Grateful Dead. No. At the Desert Trip Festival in Indio, California, just last month, 150,000 tickets were sold for 2 weekends of shows that included Dylan, age 75, Neil, not so young, the Slowly Rolling Stones, Paul McCartney, and the who? Eh? The venue offered very comfortable seats, wine vendors, chef-prepared cuisine, and exquisite restrooms. As rock and roll ages together with its fan base, the music becomes nostalgic. The rock stars themselves make more money from writing their memoirs than producing albums, and the fans just can't seem to part from their bourgeois lifestyles. Rock and roll isn't for teenagers any longer. As I got to the top of the Wasatch, I had a really good look into Chicago, which is setting the bar very high for the care of aging baby boomers. They have several places called the Chicago Cafe, a new kind of senior citizen center that has become the rage around the country. Instead of bingo and putting together a hot lunch for the old folks, senior centers now offer top-flight gyms, lap pools, speed dating, pottery studios, wine tasting, Pilates, and motorcycle clubs. Baby boomers are in denial about aging, even when their favorite rock stars are biting the dust. These aging hippies may, move from or transition from tennis to pickleball, but the new and sophisticated senior citizen centers offer opportunity for these old-timers to finally join a band. They provide you with a travel companion of the opposite sex. They teach classes in how to design a good life. It's as if life starts at 70 and they should begin formulating how they want to live their lives at age 70. When I returned to the Valley, I tried to recall if we had any of these kinds of senior centers in Utah. They're becoming of increasing interest. I don't recall hearing about them, but then realized that we in Utah don't really need them. We offer free skiing to seniors instead. When I first came to Utah, free skiing was awarded to those over 70, but since we keep in such good shape, senior is now identified as anyone over 80. That's when you get your free pass, and there are tons of octogenarians skiing for free with hip replacements and brand new knees swishing about as though they were kids. So we don't need in Utah a senior center to help us find a date. We just pick them up on the chairlift as we go up. That's a touch of class and shows once again that Utah is the one place you have to leave in order to discover just how much you really love it. The offering will now gratefully be received, and a reminder, truly, your generosity goes to paying exclusively these beautiful musicians. Thank you so much.